Ponderosa, Pa. This isn't any of our affair.
Oh, son, we can't ignore the rest of the world. We're the only stabilizing influence in the country.
Yeah, well, you sure stabilized that one, Pa.
All right, miss?
Hey, Pa.
What is it?
The dead man.
Who is it, miss?
It's himself.
Himself?
Me sainted father, Kevin O'Toole.
Are you able to tell us about it?
Cooking breakfast I was this morning on me mother's stove. Himself was a great one for hotcakes. He strangled and died.
From the hotcakes, ma'am?
Do you question my cooking? The hotcakes, he says. 'Twas the air that choked him, just as he said it would. Annie, he says to me, one whiff of that heathen air and I'll die. He said it and he did it. Thank you, I'm all right. He wouldn't want me grieving. As a matter of fact, I'm proud of him.
Proud of him?
Why not? It's the first time in his life himself ever did exactly what he said he'd do.
Well, we're all dreadfully sorry, miss. If we could offer you the hospitality of our ranch until you return home.
Why, don't you talk grand, though. Oh, thank you, I'll be staying here.
Here in Washoe Diggins?
Half a minute. There we are.
You know a man named Swede Lundberg?
Know him? Many's the time I've knocked the corners from his head with a skillet. I know him. Now, will someone guide me?
All right.
No, maybe you better go with the horse. This is my brother, Miss O'Toole. He'll see that no harm comes to you.
My, ain't you the big one, though? Thank you.
No more of that. Oh, won't there? That woodpecker of a Simpson jumped my claim. Now, stop it now. Now, in the absence of formal law, you still have your miner's law.
But who's to enforce it or decide on it?
Appoint yourselves a referee. Or if you have a serious dispute, hold a miner's court. I'll hold with that. But there ain't anybody around here I can trust. Except Ben Cartwright himself. Yeah! Thank you, fellas. Thank you, Clayton. But I'm afraid my time is fully occupied. Well, we'll vote on it. All those in favor of Ben Cartwright acting as dispute referee, speak up. Well, if you feel that I can help settle your current disputes, but remember, it's only a temporary arrangement until you find somebody permanent. All right.
Looks like you got yourself a job, Pa.
So have you, younger brother. You get yourself back to the ranch and see how the boys are doing with the cattle branding.
And just what'll you be doing?
Well, I'm going to get that girl out of town before we get into a dispute that even Pa can't settle.
Best I can do, ma'am.
Thank you. Oh, it's a fine view. Himself will like it once he gets used to it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, all this hard work in the heat of the day. You poor man, you must be starved.
Well, I can always eat, ma'am. If it ain't no bother.
Oh, on that stove a bother? Why, it's like a friend to me. It's one thing I understand complete. Thank you.
Well, Hoss, looks like you took care of things.
I had to put him someplace, Adam.
Well, I guess it really doesn't matter.
Well, now, Mr. High and Mighty, it matters a lot to me.
I really meant no disrespect, miss. It's just that, well, we hadn't fully checked your claim. You see, Swede Lundberg had 2 claims.
And this is one of them. And it's here I am and here I stay.
Miss O'Toole, I assure you my only concern is for your welfare.
True that one again.
What?
Speak plain, to the point.
Then I'll do exactly that. You're the only woman in this camp. These are rough men.
Oh, and it's milksops I'm used to on the Barbary Coast, is it?
All I'm saying is it's no place for a nice, charming lady.
Oh, now, thank you very much for the compliment, but don't you worry about me. I can cut the whiskers from a cat with a skillet without even disturbing its slumber. Now, you were saying...
I was saying that I want you to get out of here and go back to San Francisco.
And leave himself alone in a heathen place? Why, there hasn't been a day of my life I haven't taken care of him. It's here I stay.
Ma'am, my brother Adam always knows what's best.
Oh, I suppose I have no choice. There's bare enough food in the wagon to last the day. And there you stand, you poor man, starving in your tracks while I babble on. Here we go now. Thank you very much.
Miss O'Toole, if it's money you need...
And who don't?
Well, I'd be glad to give you enough money to get you back to San Francisco.
Mr. Adam, I'll have you know, I don't take money from no strangers. The shame of you talking like that in front of himself.
I only meant...
I've got an idea what you meant, and you'd best be learning some manners from your big brother here. Now you take yourself out the way you came in. I promised your brother Mulligan, and Mulligan he shall have. Oh, himself loved me Mulligan almost as well as he loved his bottle.
Woman cooking, that's what it is. Woman cooking, come on.
Oh, you poor starving dears. Listen, if you'll all pitch in together and get me a big pot and some spuds and onions.
Onions? Miss, if there was an onion in this camp, it could be traded for the richest claim on the Washoe. Salt pork is all you'll find around here.
Miss O'Toole, if you won't accept money from me...
You trying something with this lady?
But he ain't getting no place with it.
I'm only trying to help her.
I told you I don't take money from no strangers.
Who's offering you money? Now, I was watching these men and their interest in your culinary arts.
Watch your tongue.
Would you feed them for, say, $1 a meal?
At $1.50 I would. Ah, but where am I going to get enough food for all these hungry mouths?
Well, now, that's what I'm telling you. Now, I have plenty of supplies on the Ponderosa. Now, I could give you enough to cook one big meal for the whole camp. And on the proceeds, you could return to San Francisco.
What sort of supplies?
Oh, ham, fresh eggs, beef.
Oh, how can I turn them down, the poor starving dears?
Then it's a deal.
On one condition.
What?
That you come in as my partner.
Oh, now, that won't be necessary.
Then the deal's off.
Oh, all right.
Oh, a lovely thing it is. Adam, you're a darling man. And to think I took you for a snibberblot.
A what?
A snibberblot. 'Twas a saying himself had for the nabobs that lived on the hill and looked down their noses at us on the Barbary Coast. I mean no offense. It's just your grand manner. But, Adam, you have a heart, and I could kiss you for it.
We'll need a name for the place, a menu with prices.
First, you want me to round up the cows. Then I get word you want me to empty the storehouse and bring everything here. Now, will you make up your mind?
Well, you just get on back to the cows. This is all you'll be hauling. Just what's this all about?
Miss Annie said that 2 wagon loads would be better than 1.
And who told you to take orders from Annie?
Ain't she your partner?
For this 1 load, for 1 batch of meals, and then back she goes to San Francisco.
Now, Adam, the men are pretty excited about the eating place they got here, and they ain't gonna like it much if you close it up before it even gets open.
Well, I don't care whether they like it or not.
Yeah, one easy way to solve all this. Just let older brother do all the cooking himself.
There's one thing I want straight around here. We're going to raise enough money to get you back to San Francisco, and that's it. No more. Is that clear?
Yes, Adam.
And where in thunderation do you get off and telling Horse to bring a 2nd load of goods?
And where do you get off telling me how much supplies it takes to feed 100 men?
100 men?
They're coming down from the hills, a dozen at a time.
Well, this is all. Understand? Absolutely all. Well, where's the bill of fare?
Adam, I can't write. There you are. A snibberblot, and I knew it. It ain't like I didn't want to have learning. So don't stand there and look down your nose at me.
Annie, I wasn't criticizing you.
You was, too. You with your fine words and your grand airs.
Oh, really? What difference does it make? Now, just by luck, I happen to know how to write. We're partners, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, what's the name of our grand establishment?
The square meal, that's what they all say. You know, I could have learned to write if I'd had a chance.
Of course you could. There we are. How do you like that?
My, ain't it grand and scrawly. Adam, could you learn me to write it out like that?
Sure I could. Now for the bill of fare. Let's see, ham and eggs and potatoes, $1.
$1.50. I ought to learn numbers first. Adam, could you learn me numbers?
Sure I could. $1.50?
Make it $2. $1.50 for mulligan by the plate. Being in business, it's good for me to know numbers. Adam, could you really learn me to write numbers?
Could I teach you?
I don't know, could you? Oh, $2 for the stew.
The supplies are all unloaded, Mr. Delmonico.
Oh, himself will be so proud of me, being in business with such fine gentlemen. Adam, we're running out of wood. Will you cut some?
Oh, I guess Annie doesn't know how scarce wood is around here. I brought some from the Ponderosa right here in the wagon. Start cutting it.
Adam.
Yeah?
Look, in spite of me ways, there's a heart in me. I mean himself. But you see, he wouldn't want me grieving. Ah, Adam, you're a good, kind man.
I'm doing no more than anyone else would do, Annie.
But you are, offering to learn me figures and how to write and all that and to speak like a real lady. You and me is going to make $1 million.
You and I.
That's right, darling. The both of us.
The Square Meal restaurant was a howling success. And by the end of the first week, Annie O'Toole had enough money to take her back to San Francisco in style. But Annie showed no inclination to leave. And I discovered that although she couldn't write writin', as she put it, she did have quite an eye for business.
There we are now.
No, Annie. I don't want any of the money, because if you take the money, I gotta get you back to San Francisco.
Now listen to me, Adam. You're gonna...
I tried my best to get out of that partnership with Annie, but Annie wouldn't hear of it.
My darling.
Pa, too, had gotten in a lot deeper than he had planned. I decided it was time for all of us to get out of here and get back to Ponderosa where we belonged.
What's the matter? You know like a hop sing cooking? You like a Missy Annie O'Toole. All right, I quit.
Simmer down, Hop Sing, will you? Got enough trouble with that woman as it is.
Why don't you marry her, Adam? Save us all this trouble.
You know, if she doesn't stop grubstaking every miner that comes along, she'll wind up owning half the Comstock.
Hey, you know, you're making more money by accident than most men make on purpose, you know.
I tell you, I'm not her partner.
No, well, don't tell me. Tell her.
Boy, she can sure cook.
You go her house eat. You know like a Hop Sing cooking.
No, wait a minute, Hop Sing. That isn't what I meant. That ain't what I meant.
Mr. Cartwright, I can talk to you.
Sweet, when'd you get back? Come on in.
Well, I've been back a couple of days.
Sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, am I glad to see you. We have a mutual friend in town, Annie O'Toole.
This here's what I come to talk about. They tell me you settled all the complaints, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, just trying to establish some degree of order. Oh, what's wrong, Sweet?
Well, you see, when I left here, I staked out 2 claims. And the one I give to Annie and the other I sell in San Francisco.
Well, what's the difficulty?
Well, I don't know which one I give to Annie or which one I sell.
That should be simple enough. Annie has her claim, and I assume the man you sold to has his.
Adam, have you ever tried to reason with Annie O'Toole?
Well, I guess we ought to look into it, pal.
All right. Come on.
Well, Miss Cartwright, it seems clear enough, doesn't it? I'm obviously the legal owner of the Sweet Lumber Claim Number 2.
Yes, it would seem so, Mr. Spain. And by simple process of elimination, Annie O'Toole must own Sweet Lumber Claim Number 1.
Yes. Then I insist you throw her off my property.
Mr. Spain, we're not here to throw people out. We're here to settle disputes. Maybe we talk to Annie about this.
So it's you again, is it?
Now, Annie, we just want to get this thing straightened out. Mr. Spain here is...
Oh, Mr. Spain, is it? Ain't we grand since we moved to Nob Hill? Mr. Gregory Spain. Trapdoor Gregory he was when I knew him.
Let's stick to the facts.
The fact you'll have. The biggest thug and Shanghai artist on the Barbary Coast he was. Mr. Trapdoor Gregory.
Must I listen to this witch?
You be careful what you call her.
And ain't you the fine one, trading your claim to this scum here for a bottle of whiskey?
And it wasn't a bottle, it was a keg. And, well, it was for himself. Sort of a wake, it was.
Oh, a wake, was it? Why, you didn't even know himself had passed to his reward.
All very interesting. Get them out of here. I'll get a crew in here, tear down this restaurant. The grave has to be moved, of course.
You snibberblot! You miserable little snibberblot! Putting on airs with me! I knew you when you was picking pockets off drunks in the gutters, I did. And didn't himself go to work for you when you first got into the Shanghai business? Springing the trapdoors, he did. Under the bar stools. The best trapdoor springer you ever had. You said so yourself. And did he ever come home with $1 in his jeans? No, he didn't. You paid him his wages in whiskey, you did.
Keep her away from me.
Ha! He ain't even worth denting me pan on.
Sweet, is this claim number 2? Or ain't it?
Well, I think so. I just don't remember.
You don't remember?
Well, I was sort of excited.
You was drunk, that's what you was.
Annie, get your claim notice. Now, this is claim number 2, and your notice says claim number 1, then I'm afraid you're on the wrong property.
Oh, Adam, don't let him move himself from his resting place.
Annie, we may have to.
I won't do it.
Please. Annie, get your claim notice.
Claim number 2, you say. You read it, Adam. You know how poor I am at reading.
Spain, let me see your claim, please.
They're both for claim number 2.
What? You altered yours. It's a forgery. I'll throw you out of here and himself along with you.
No, this can all be settled, but not in this manner. Come along, Mr. Spade.
Oh, Annie, this will get you no place.
Gregory Spain, snibberblot, thief, crook, that's what he is, accusing me.
Annie, one of these claim numbers has been altered.
Oh, Adam, I just don't understand business.
Annie, did you change your claim number?
Oh, how could I do it?
Now, the claims are done with Roman numerals.
I don't know nothing about it. I never met a Roman in my life.
Annie, is that what you did?
Adam, you know I can't write.
Oh, all right, forget it. Pa and I will straighten it out.
Don't you worry about it, darling. For 10 years, I've been waiting to get trapdoor Gregory in me clutches. The way he done you out of your wages. And you the best trapdoor springer he ever had. Don't you worry about it. They won't be disturbing your rest. Not unless that trapdoor Gregory pays for it, they won't.
I demand my rights.
All right. Now, Swede, surely there must be some way you can remember. Which stake did you claim out first? That would be claim number 1, wouldn't it?
I just don't remember. No, that wasn't it. I think I got it. I think I know. I left my tools on claim number 2. I picked my shovel, and then I got excited.
You got drunk.
Then wherever we find the tools, that's claim number 2.
And that's my claim.
Can you identify the tools?
Well, yeah, sure. I got the first letters of my name burned in the handles.
Will that satisfy Annie?
Oh, sure, Adam. Oh, I only want to do what's fair. Well, I'd best be getting back to the restaurant.
All right. Now, quiet for a minute. Here's what we'll do. You'll go down to the claim and take a look. And if the tools are there, that'll be claim number 2. Agreed? All right.
I sure hope those tools aren't on Annie's claim. Spain's a crook if I ever saw one.
There's some tools over there, all right. I used a pick and a shovel when I dug that grave.
I was afraid of that.
All right, let's get at it.
No, listen, darlings, listen. You can't go looking for tools on empty stomachs. Give me 1 minute, and I'll get the mulligan pot going.
No, we didn't come here to eat. We came here to see justice.
Sit down. You'll get what's coming to you.
I wish you would.
All right, Annie, bring on the food. We're all for you.
I ain't hungry.
Annie, you promise you will abide by our decision.
Oh, yes, I will, Adam. That trapdoor makes me mad, strutting around like a peacock. Just because he's moved on to Nob Hill, he thinks he's a big typhoon.
Tycoon. A typhoon is a big wind.
That's him.
Just don't understand it. I know there was a pick and shovel back there.
She stole them, I tell you. That's what she did. She's trying to do me out of what's mine.
Oh, quit whining, will you? We looked, didn't we?
What's the matter, Mr. Spain? You got that other claim. Why don't you go on over there and take it?
I ain't through with you yet, Annie O'Toole. I'll have what's mine.
Why don't you go spring a trap door?
Come on, little Joe.
Goodbye, man.
Annie, I don't know what your game is.
There you go, suspecting me. And me figuring the only man I could count on were you.
Was you.
Well, you wasn't. Oh, Adam. I've known Trapped almost all me life. A cutthroat, thief, that's what he is.
Oh, I can believe that. And that's why I hate to see you antagonize him. Now, look, Swede's other claim is near here. Why don't we get the men and just move the restaurant?
But what about himself?
There'd be no need to disturb the grave.
And have him know that trapdoor was trampling all over him? Oh, himself would be turning end for end. He'd be that upset. Oh, now, Adam, why do you doubt me? You seen me claim notice today, didn't you? Didn't it have the right number? And did they find the Swedes pick and axe and shovel? No, I ask you, did they? There's such a shortage of wood around here.
Sure there is. Looks like Spain's getting himself a crew.
Yeah, he's been at it for the last hour. Must have talked to 10 or 12 men.
Yeah, he sure knows how to pick the tough ones, too.
Maybe they've decided to work claim number 1.
I doubt it.
Why don't they just trade claims? After all, one's just about like another, and besides, Annie has a father buried over there. Isn't anything sacred around here?
Not where silver is concerned. It would seem that Mr. Kevin himself, O'Toole, is buried atop the richest strike ever made in the Washington.
Keeping the news of the big strike quiet is about as easy as hiding an elephant under a walnut shell. Everyone wanted in on it. From the looks of it, Annie was getting her share of the Bonanza, too.
Go ahead with your eating, gentlemen. You won't disturb us one bit.
Now, look, Spain, if you think you can run Annie off her claim...
Her claim, Mr. Cartwright. Sweet. Will you show me just where you dug your shaft when you made your required improvements?
Improvements? Improvements? I guess I didn't make none. I just knocked a hunk of assay rock off the ledge.
That's right, Sweet. You didn't make any improvements. And according to miner's law, on which you Cartwrights put such great stock, if the improvements are not made within 10 days, the claim is considered abandoned. And also, according to that same miner's law, it would be perfectly legal for me to shoot any man who tried to jump my claim. Get to work, gentlemen.
Adam, can't you stop them? They're busting up the place. Ooh.
An experimental hole, gentlemen. It's only a very small charge of powder, but perhaps you should stand back.
Give him the heave-ho! Give it to him!
It's only fool's luck that someone wasn't killed. And unless this thing is settled, someone will be.
It's already settled. That's my claim, and she's on it, and I mean to throw her off.
Quiet! Quiet, all of you! All of you! Now, we had some semblance of law and order started here. Let's don't lose it. Now, The way I see it, the only way to settle this is to hold a miners' court. Hear all the evidence. Everyone in camp acts as jury.
I'll give you his evidence. Trapdoor Gregory is a pickpocket what made good, and that's all he is.
Miss O'Toole.
I wouldn't take his word for the time of day.
Annie, will you please be quiet? Now, Pa, I think the miners' court's the right thing to do.
You have no right to think.
But, Pa, it's me, Adam.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, young man, you are the partner of the defendant. And if you say one more word to me before the trial, I'll fine you for trying to influence the referee.
Adam, we have enough money. Let's buy us another judge.
Annie.
I was only trying to help.
But will you stop trying to help before you land the both of us in jail?
Mr. Spain, how about you? Do you agree to the miners' court?
Plaintiff agrees.
Miss O'Toole?
I think you're a sniveler.
Miss O'Toole agrees.
All right. Now you have a half hour to prepare your cases.
Annie, I may as well tell you right out. I don't think you have any legal right to this claim.
Well, Adam, I wasn't thinking of legal rights. I was just trying to think about human rights. You know, I'm human, same as anybody else.
Of course you are, Annie.
Oh, I don't mean to complain, Adam. But all these years I've worked hard, dreaming of one thing. That someday I'd get to live like a lady.
Annie, why didn't you get married?
Oh, I wanted to. But nobody ever asked me. Adam, you won't walk out on me now, will you?
Don't you worry. I'm not going to walk out on you.
Because I wouldn't know what to say at the trial. Your pa, as good a man as he is, terrifies me with his ways.
I'll speak for you.
You will. You darling, you.
Well, I got word you wanted to see me. Is there any charge for this here show?
Well, sweet, I just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, sure. As soon as you get through lollygagging and kissing around, yeah?
Now, sweet, listen.
Just a minute, Swede Lundberg. Don't you get snibberblot with me.
Me, Snibberblot? Well, how about you? You and your talk about marriage all the time. In the fine house, and you're going to make a fine gentleman out of me.
Sweet, listen.
And a sorry task it would be.
Well, don't you bother. You found a fine gentleman, a real fine one.
Indeed, I did find a fine one.
Well, then why don't you marry him? That's what you wanted.
Sweet.
Go ahead, see if I care.
Sweet,
But
listen.
Sweet.
Now, sweet, listen.
I ought to punch you right in the nose.
Things look bad for Annie, Adam.
We've been keeping an eye on Spain. He's been buying liquor and bribing every drunk in town.
There's more of those than there are the others. Looks like you got yourself a paid-off jury, older brother.
Court will come to order.
Take off your hats.
Mr. Gregory Spain.
Your hat.
My case is simple, and I throw myself entirely on the mercy of these honest men and the honorable judge. I make no claims. I ask only that the law of abandonment be upheld. The assessment work ain't been done on the claim in question.
He's right.
That's all I got to say.
Your hat.
Miss Annie O'Toole. Miss O'Toole.
Adam, I need you.
Miss O'Toole.
Please.
As one of the partners of Cartwright and O'Toole, I'll present our case. Now, the whole point here seems to be that no assessment work was done. Well, I submit it was. May I call a witness, Your Honor? Thank you. Horse Cartwright. Now, Hoss, did you, or did you not, dig an exploration shaft on the disputed claim the very first day Miss O'Toole came to Virginia City?
Yeah. Yeah, I dug a hole. It's
Just answer the question.
Yes, sir. I dug a hole 6 foot deep, 6 feet long, and 3 foot wide.
Gentlemen, that satisfies the requirements. And there's not a thing in miner's law that says you can't bury a body in an exploration shaft and then fill it back up again. Gentlemen, I ask that you rule in favor of Miss Annie O'Toole. The assessment work was done.
Court's adjourned.
You're a thief and a crook.
It takes one to recognize one.
I can't fight the whole camp. I know I'm buying my own claim, but I'll give you $5,000 in cash.
Trapdoor. You think I disturb himself from his resting place for money? I wouldn't dream of it. At least not for that amount.
You will excuse us.
And to think of him sleeping there, right on top of $1 million and not making a move to do anything about it.
And him who never before had a dime in his jeans.
Annie, if you'll only sell it to me.
I'll not disturb himself.
$7,500. $10,000 in cash.
Trapdoor. You should never have done himself out of his rightful wages. I've a hunch he'll never listen to you until the price is twice the amount.
Why don't you go out and get a gun and rob stagecoaches?
I seem to be doing all right without it.
So I said this fella, you're gonna die.
Hey, Hopsing, is this what you do on your day off?
Missy Annie teach Hopsing make a very fine Chinese dish, Hong Kong Mulligan. Bye, you know have a common restaurant no more.
Oh, you're doing fine.
Annie, $25,000.
I'll speak to himself about it.
I had finally convinced her I no longer wanted to be a partner in the restaurant. But I kept getting indications that I was still involved.
Hey! Why didn't you tell us, Adam?
You and Annie ain't wonderful.
What are you talking
Hey, can you
about?
imagine, Pa? Adam and Annie getting married.
Adam and Annie?
Yeah.
Where's that Swede?
Oh, he went prospecting.
Prospecting where?
I don't know. I think he said Africa.
Africa?
Son, how far's this thing gone?
It hasn't gone anywhere, but it's about to.
Adam, don't you hurt Annie's feelings.
It wasn't her feelings I was thinking about hurting. Annie, what's this about a wedding?
How can there be a wedding when I don't even know where the Swede went?
Oh, the Swede.
Adam, he's still mad at me for what I done. Said he never wanted to see me again. And me loving him all these years, selling his claim for him. And getting all this money for him, too. Just you wait and see. There.
Annie, where did you get all this?
Trapdoor Gregory. I sold out to him. For this and the best funeral for himself that money can buy.
Well, there must be $20,000 here.
Oh, 25. This is the first down payment. You see, I get 5% of the gross take of the mine for the rest of me natural life. Oh, I tried hard to learn business from you, Adam. I hope I done good.
5% of the gross. Annie, you've done real good.
I done it for Swede.
You did it.
That I did. But it's no more than fair. It's what he should have had in the first place. Oh, Adam. I was going to move himself onto the other claim. The Swede and me was going to get married. I was going to build a fine mansion and live like a real lady. And now the Swede has gone off and left me.
Oh, don't you worry, Annie. I'll take care of everything for old time's sake.
Do you really think you could?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a darling man.
It took a bit of doing, but we did it. And it was quite a day. Kevin himself, O'Toole, had a funeral the Comstock would remember for a long time to come. And to make it stick in everyone's mind, it was the day Virginia City got its first fire engine. But what really made it such a grand day was the fact that trapdoor Gregory Spain paid for every bit of it.
Would you turn him around so he can see the new saloons? Then he'll know he's not in a heathen land.
Bonanza!
No, not again. Gregory Spain's Lundberg No. 1 became a famous mine. But it wasn't 1/10 as rich as the one on the Swede's other claim, which turned into one of the most fabulous strikes of the whole Comstock lode. The Swede? Nah, he hadn't gone to Africa at all. It meant roisting every saloon on the Barbary Coast, but we finally found him and even dried him out. And after paying their respects to himself and his ever-loving monument, the Lucky Stiff Mine, Mr. and Mrs. Lundberg embarked on a trip to Europe to soak up culture and achieve Annie's dream of really becoming a lady. And when they came back, Annie and the Swede built themselves a great mansion on the road between Virginia City and Reno. And I wouldn't be surprised if that mansion would still be there 100 years.
What's this for?
Because I love you. And because this is my engagement party. Now remember, you promised no talking about mine business tonight. Promise?
I promise.
Well, here he is.
How did you ever pry him away?
It wasn't too hard to do.
Well, I told him if he didn't come to this party, I'd refuse to be best man and marry you myself.
I didn't want to take that chance.
Forget about being superintendent for one night, Gil. The mine will run all right without you. I sent the night shift back to work on the 3rd level.
You what? I told you we couldn't work the 3rd level without new timbering.
Dad, you promised no mine talk.
Room.
My boy. Where's my boy?
It's all right, Mary. I'll find him.
Mr. Holloway, you promised us new safety, timbering.
I'm doing all I can. Come on, dear. You ought to go home.
It's all right. You'll be all right. I know
You said that third level wasn't safe, but you sent the ship in anyway. You said yourself it wasn't safe.
Now get out of the way, Tregellis.
You used to be one of us. Now you're marrying Holloway's daughter.
Gil's doing everything he can, Tregellis.
When? Like always? When it's too late? My kid brother's down there. Now you get out of my way, Cartwright.
All right, stand by there. Keep on back. It's coming up now. Give us room. There's two of them. Move on back.
It's Pat! Pat!
All right, bring him on out.
Thank God you're here.
East slope, third level. Every timber seemed to buckle at once as they set off a blast above us.
Same as last week. Every time it's the same thing. Move out of the way.
You're not going down there, are you?
If I'd stayed down there where I belong, this might not have happened.
Don't let what Tregellis said get under your hide.
If my kid brother was trapped down there, I'd think of something worse to say than Tregellis said. Adam, you don't have to come down with me.
It's my timber you're using, isn't it?
All right, Bud. Let it go.
How do they stand it time after time? It's like living on top of a powder keg waiting for that disaster whistle to blow.
It's part of mining, Helene. Enter it on the report. Make sure each of the widows gets a usual box of groceries.
Yes, sir.
Box of groceries in exchange for a dead husband.
It's company policy. That's a terrible thing. I'm sorry this had to happen tonight. Spoil your party, Helene. Helene, this is ridiculous. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's go home and get some sleep.
Daddy, those women won't sleep tonight. They each have a man down there, and so do I. Gil. Oh, Gil, are you all right?
I'm all right. Do you want to tell them?
Tell them what?
That there's nobody else coming up out of there. Not tonight. Not ever.
How soon can you give me a report?
It'll be on your desk. Cold black figures against a white piece of paper. 5 dead, 2 dying, 5 missing, 14 injured, but no slow up in production, Mr. Holloway. Does that make you happy?
Stop it, Gil.
I'm sick of it.
Gil, you shouldn't have gone down there.
No, that's right. I should have stayed at the party. I'm a superintendent now, and the men I used to work with aren't human beings anymore.
Aren't you being a little bit melodramatic?
Am I? You should have been down there with us. That was melodramatic, too.
I've had my share of mine disasters.
But you don't have to face those men every day or those women. I do.
It's not my job to manage the men.
Your job? Oh, haven't you got the guts to stand up to them and order them into a mine that isn't safe enough for a rat?
The Ophir is safe as any mine on the Comstock.
That's saying a lot, isn't it?
Gil, please.
What were you doing down there?
I was checking the timbering.
I've got a man hired to do that.
I know. Philip Dietesheimer. I was hoping to talk with him.
I run the Ophir mine, Adam. You sell me timber for that mine. It's worked out very well for both of us. Suppose we keep it that way. Would you like a brandy? You must be tired, Helene. Come over here. Sit down. Close to me a minute. I want to talk to you about Gil. I'm as fond of Gil as you are. If I didn't think he'd make you a good husband, I'd have fired him instead of promoting him. Gil's a superintendent now. He doesn't have to go underground anymore.
Daddy, those men are his friends. You can't expect him to forget that.
I had to forget it. It's a lesson I had to learn. Stay on your own level. That's my job, and I have to do it. Don't you think I have bosses? My bosses have no faces, no hearts, no souls. But they've got a stock certificate. If I get soft or sentimental, they use it as a club to beat my brains out. I've fought a long time to get what I've got, and I'll fight to keep it.
I believe Gil was thinking about preventing another accident, not about your stockholders.
Honey, believe me, it gets pretty lonely up here on this level. The higher a man stands, the farther he can see. I have to do what I think's best for the most people. Try to understand that.
I am trying to understand it, Dad.
Oh, good morning.
How'd you get into town so early?
I yanked him out of bed, that's why.
Coffee?
No, thanks.
Gil, you still think it'd be worthwhile for me to talk to Dietesheimer?
My future father-in-law doesn't seem to think so. But I still do.
That's why Holloway likes you. You stand up to him.
Hey, who's gonna pay for this?
I don't know. I'm too sleepy to try and figure it out.
I can't figure out who's gonna pay for it on an empty stomach. That'll bring me another steak.
Mr. Fenton. Could I talk to you?
What is it, Tregallis?
Well, last night, my kid brother was down in the mine. I should have known he'd be all right. Well, I said things I shouldn't have.
It's all right, Tregallis, I understand.
Well, I wouldn't want to lose my job or anything like that, you know.
You won't, not over this.
Thanks. Gil? Same old Gil, you ain't changed. And listen, all this talk about shutting down the mine, safety tests and all that, don't you do it, Gil. As long as there's a hole in the ground, me and the boys will go down into it. Wouldn't want to lose no day's pay. Somebody's afraid of getting a rock on top of their head. And, Mr. Cartwright, I don't blame you for poking me in the whiskers. Next time, don't do it so hard.
Have you seen Philip Dietesheimer?
Dutchman? I don't understand that one. He's the only man I ever knew who could look a hole straight through you without even seeing you.
Well, has he been around?
He's been down in that hole since 10 minutes after you left last night.
Either he comes up for air pretty soon, or he's going to find nobody here to work this hoist when he rings that bell.
Will you stay around for a little while?
Take care of this for me, will you, Casey?
Gil. Gil, I've been looking all over for you.
Not now, dear. Adam and I want to go down below and look around for a minute.
If it were another woman, I could face it, but to have a silver mine for a romantic rival.
Hey.
Oh, Gil, please be careful. If anything happened to you.
Off you go. Oh. All right, Lou, let her go.
Good sound timbering, Gil.
But it just isn't holding.
Philip Diedesheimer!
It is not usually so. But here in these mines, there's such great variance of temperatures. There's a constant shrinking and expanding of the earth itself. When I took my pick and loosened this hanging wall behind the upright, so...
Caved this in deliberately? You might have been killed, man.
So, the important thing is 5 men were killed last night. You see, Gil, there's an unusual side pressure against these uprights.
And without tower braces to prevent side motion.
Oh, Philip, this is Adam Cartwright. Adam, Philip Diedesheimer.
Mr. Cartwright?
Hadn't you better take some time off, get some rest, have something to eat?
The widows of those men, they have no appetite this morning, Gil. Neither have I. You mentioned tower bracing, Mr. Cartwright. You perhaps worked in construction, no?
Well, I supply the timber for the mines. My father and I, my brothers, we have a ranch.
And what a ranch, Philip. The Ponderosa, 1,000 square miles of it. And wait till you see the house. Adam designed and built it to last 100 years.
Oh?
You must see it.
Yeah. There are so many things in your beautiful country that I must see. But how can I look at beauty when men are dying? Given time as one of the factors, there is no problem in engineering that cannot be solved.
Mr. Diedesheimer, Gil's told me a great deal about you, and, well, I don't mean to be presumptuous, but if you'd care to have me go over your stress calculations with you, what I mean is that if you'd like to use me as a sounding board, I've kept up with my mathematics.
It would mean a great deal to me to have someone to talk with, someone who understood the engineering problem.
Well, I'd be honored, Mr. Diedesheimer.
Well, then you call me Philip, huh? So we do not waste time.
Come in here with your pigs, boys.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Where's Gil?
He was right behind us.
Can you see him?
No.
Gil? Gil, can you hear me?
Well, what do we do now?
We wait. Just as thousands before us have waited. And we think of many things. That is the final refuge of a man when he's completely alone. He can think.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way. My brother's down there.
Boss.
I just heard about it, Miss Elaine. Don't worry, now. Gil's gonna be all right, ma'am. Please don't do that, ma'am. Everything's gonna be all right.
Sorry, Mr. Cartwright. I have orders to let no outsiders go down.
Well, your orders just changed. Let her go, Bo.
Wait a minute, boys. Wait a minute. Answer them. Get in there, boys, with your shovels. Get the loose stuff out.
What are you thinking about now?
I was thinking, perhaps after today, we will not let the mine fall on our heads again.
I hope not.
Well, there is a simple way. All we have to do is never again go into a mine. So many people make that decision in life. So very many.
No use, boys. We may as well give up. They don't answer the signal anymore. They're back of that wall of rock, but we're too late. They don't answer anymore.
Give me that shovel. Okay, bud, okay. That's good. Give me some light.
It's about time you got here. Gil's back there somewhere.
Adam, there ain't nothing back there but 500 ton of rock.
All right, let it down.
How are you, Mr. Dina Sharma?
All right, Phil, see if you can make it. Got him, horse?
Yeah, I got him. Easy, easy. He might have a broken bone.
Here's one of them, boys. Let's get him. Take him out, boys. Here we are. You all right? Yeah.
Here they come.
That's real.
Gil! Where's Gil?
Miss Elaine, I want to talk to you.
That Gil. He's always the first one down and the last one up. I suppose he's still down there looking around. That's what it is, Hoss, isn't it?
Ma'am, let me take you home.
Oh, no. No, I've got to wait here for Gil. He promised me nothing would happen to him. He promised me. Oh, Hoss, tell me nothing's happened.
Ma'am, I can't lie to you. I can't make it no easier on you.
I've got to see him. I've got to go down. I've got to see him. Don't you understand? I've got to see him. I've got to see him.
Where's Gil?
He's still down there.
Well, go get him, Adam. I want to talk to him.
What I'm trying to tell you is...
What he means is... Gil is dead, Daddy.
What?
That's the word he was looking for, dead. But it's a dirty word and no one wants to say it. Not here in this house, not on this level. The stockholders might hear. Dead is a word for men who work down in the ground, not for people like us. We can't talk about a man who's buried under 50 tons of rock, but he's dead just the same. Oh, Daddy.
I'll give her a sedative. You come along. You too.
Gil, dead. Well, I'll have to hire a new superintendent.
Mr. Holloway, if that's the first thing you thought about, I feel real sorry for you.
I guess that should about do it.
Thanks, Doc.
Mr. Diedeshammer, I told you to get some rest. Now you're pushing yourself much too far.
Would you rest, Doctor, if there were a plague afoot, and somewhere in that little black bag of yours there was a pill you knew could cure it? Would you rest until you had found that pill? Well, my head is like your little black bag. Somewhere inside it is a pill of information, long forgotten. A solution to these mind disasters. I have to find that pill, Doctor.
Well, you better slow down or I won't be responsible.
Every man is responsible to himself, Doctor. Does your head feel good enough to use?
Let's get to work.
Now.
Mr. Diedeshammer, I've been thinking.
Are you an engineer?
Well, no, but...
Then I'm not in the least interested in what you've been thinking. Please go.
Now, wait a minute. This is my home.
At the moment, it is my office, and I want no interruptions. Please. Now. So, we have...
Why ain't you at work?
Mr. Holloway, I refuse to send those men back down.
You refuse?
I believe the same as Gil. Close down a few days. Get a chance to make some proper tests and experiments.
Casey, you're fired.
What?
I said you're fired. Tregallis, can you handle Casey's job?
Mr. Holloway, I never did want to see you shut down, like I said to Gil last time I talked to him. I can get that shift back to work.
See that you do.
Another thing I'd do, Mr. Holloway, I'd order that Dutchman to stay away from the men. He wastes an awful lot of time. I'd tell him to take care of his own work, leave our boys alone.
You're in charge. Go tell him. He's right upstairs.
That is the problem, Adam, and it is increasing every day. The veins of silver grow wider the deeper they go.
I know, and the U-bracing that we use in a narrow stope becomes worthless in a 65-foot wide gallery.
And it is not only the overhead pressure, Adam. There's a constant side pressure as well.
I want to talk to you, Dutchman.
Vertical bracing and cap pieces, certainly. But it would be standing so thick that a man couldn't get through.
I'm in charge now.
We are very busy. And even the tower bracing you suggested.
Listen to me when I'm talking to you. You're going to take orders just like the rest of the men.
But how are you going to get 65-foot timbers down a mine shaft?
And I want you to stay away from the men, hear me? They're down there to work, not to visit with you. And another thing, Dutchman.
I believe in a little formality. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. There's...
Miss Helene. Miss Helene.
I know you're sorry.
That's not exactly what I was going to say, ma'am. Folks mean well when they say that they're sorry. It's like when my mama was still alive. I remember I used to mash my finger and she'd kiss it and tell me the pain was all gone. It wasn't really. It's just that now when I try to remember the pain, all I can remember is my mama kissing it away.
So I smile bravely and lift my head And there never was a Gil Fenton in my life.
No. No, you can sometimes forget the pain, but you can't ever forget the love. Never. There's gonna always be a Gil Fenton in your life. I remember I was in love once with a girl. As much in love as a man can be, I reckon. I guess that sounds a little funny coming from me, don't it?
Oh, no, it doesn't, Hoss.
She died. And I know that my Pa and Adam and little Joe are sorry. But that just wasn't enough. Not right then, it wasn't.
What did you do?
I talked to God. He told me I was just going to have to keep on living.
May I have permission to enter your mind, Mr. Tagalis?
All right. Go ahead.
Adam told me to find you and tell you that number 6 had shifted and that the tower braces were 10 degrees out of plumb, whatever that means.
It means, Horst, that we now know one more thing that will not work. It means also that we must still find that one thing that will work.
Well, he told me I ought to talk you into getting some rest, too.
Well, he may have said it. But he didn't mean for me to do it. But it would be good. So good. Stretch out for a while, close my eyes against the sun, and feel the life of the earth beneath me. But I would feel only the death, Horse. Only the death.
You feel all right, Mr. Dietesheimer?
All right? I do not know. That is a relative question, no? I only know that my head is so full of vertical braces and cross braces and cap pieces and skulls and timbers that my brain is like a bee swarm of unrelated facts, buzzing and churning and working within a hive. A honeycomb. A honeycomb!
Sir?
I have it, Oz, I have it!
You got what?
Go get me some 1-inch boards. Soft pine that I can cut with a jackknife. Go bring them to my room. I go get Adam. Why did I not see this, Adam? Each surface bearing on the other. The ratio of strength of each side of a honeycomb to the combined weight of the honey. Gently now, gently. Come. Thank you, Ross.
Now, what in the blazes?
The solution, Mr. Holloway. The solution to every cave-in and slippage problem in the Comstock mines. Boss, please. Clean place on the table. Thank you.
Miss Lean, look here what Mr. Dietesheimer and Adam built. Show 'em how it works, Mr. Dietesheimer.
You mean that's a system of mind bracing?
It's the most perfect system I've ever seen in my whole life.
Are you such an expert?
No, but Mr. Dietesheimer is. Philip, why don't you explain the principle?
You see, Mr.
I can see the principle. Square, open-sided, tower bracing box, bearing equal pressure from all angles. And I suppose as the stope is dug wider, you propose to add another box.
Well, you can add them above, too, and you can even build a floor in it.
Very interesting, gentlemen, and very expensive. We can't use it.
Dad, aren't you even going to consider it?
But look at it, honey. It's a child's toy, a plaything of an impractical dreamer.
You didn't even give them a chance.
A chance to what? Play with toys while I've got a mind to run? Do you think I'm gonna rip out the timbering I've got in that mine to try some crazy new idea?
But the timbering system you have is no good.
We've been operating successfully with it for a long time now. Can't you understand I've got stockholders to think about?
Oh, yes, I understand. You and your faceless stockholders. Well, I have somebody to think about, too. Only he had a face and a body and arms to hold me with. And he's buried under 50 tons of rock, and you put him there!
Elaine! Wait a minute. Where are you going?
Where do the rest of the mine widows go?
If you don't listen to me.
I'm through listening to you, Father. And don't forget to send me my box of groceries.
We've been looking for you.
I've been looking for myself, Adam.
There's new models coming along great.
Well, I have created a good thing. But that is all it is. A thing. A handful of smoke. What good is it to write a book if nobody reads it? Or to compose a song if nobody ever sings it? Or to invent a new way of timbering a mine if it is not used?
Don't you worry. It'll be used all right.
But when? When? When another 100 men have died needlessly?
Well, it's such a radical departure from anything we've done before. Just take time to sell it to anyone.
Only the dead have time to wait, Adam. And we are concerned with the living.
Well, the Ophir isn't the only mine on the Comstock. There's the Yellow Jacket, Gould and Curry, and the Mexican. We know the owners. We've sold timber to all of them. All we have to do is sell one of them the idea.
But I am not a fishmonger, Adam. Hawking a product on the streets.
Well, then you let me worry about that end of it. You just finished this new model.
Looks pretty elaborate.
Well, it's quite simple, really. Series of cribs, each surface bearing on the other. Now, that takes care of your side motion, which has been one of your big problems. Now, also, you see, with the wide veins that you're starting to hit, you can timber as you stope in merely by adding another crib. Now, the same holds true with working up above or down below, which is an impossibility with your present timbering. Now, here you could have an ore chute running diagonally right up here through the sets.
Any idea of the cost?
Well, I really hadn't gone into it. I think Mr. Dietesheimer was more concerned with safety rather than cost.
Yeah, I'd heard that he was pretty much of a dreamer. Well, thanks for showing it to us, Adam.
Hey, ain't you even gonna let him finish telling you about it?
Oh, I've seen enough to recognize the fact that the cost would be prohibitive. I'm afraid you'll have to figure out some other way of selling timber, Adam.
You mean to tell me you think that's all Adam and Mr. Dietesheimer have been doing day and night is figuring out another way to sell timber?
Oh, stay out of it, Hoss.
I won't stay out of it. I don't like what this woodpecker's saying to you.
Oh, really now? We don't have to pretend with each other. We're in the mining business to make money, and you should be able to understand that. No Cartwright ever made a move unless there was a dollar in it for him someplace.
Mister, you're the biggest flannel-mouthed liar in the Comstock.
Do you know who I am?
I sure do, and you do too, because I just got through telling you.
My brother isn't the world's finest diplomat, but he's managed to express my own feelings pretty accurately.
Well, it might work. Sure, but the system we're using now can be put in for 1/10 the cost.
Why did Holloway ever hire that Dutchman in the first place?
Oh, now don't sell Holloway short. He hires this safety engineer, and the Crusaders leave him alone.
I know, but now he's come up with this fantastic idea.
You don't find Holloway using it, do you?
Well, is there anybody else we can talk to, Adam?
No, that's about all of them. Besides, I'm tired of talking.
You ain't gonna give up, are you?
Well, I said I'm tired of talking.
Well, what are we gonna do?
Well, what do the Cartwrights always do when it comes right down to it? We'll do it ourselves.
You mean we're gonna make a big one of these things and stick it down old Holloway's mine without even telling him about it?
Why tell him? He'll know it's there when he sees it tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I said tomorrow.
Adam, I heard you and Mr. Dietesheimer talking, and them timbers are big, and they gotta be milled and cut. How are you gonna do all that by tomorrow?
Well, now, we own a sawmill, don't we? Now, we'll just give this job to our younger brother and tell him it's impossible to do.
Yeah, that ought to do it. We'll get started first thing in the morning. That's what old Adam said. And we will, too. You wait and see. When my pa and Adam and my younger brother, little Joe, put their head to something, it gets done.
You're very proud of your family, aren't you, Hoss?
Yes, sir, I sure am.
It's a fine thing to have a strong family.
Yes, sir. Paul's always kept us mighty close together. You see, we just half brothers.
So?
Yes, sir. My Paul's had a terrible lot of tragedy in his life.
Tragedy? Yeah. But this has made of him a finer man. And it's helped draw you all closer together as a family, no?
Yes, sir. I reckon it has.
The girl, Helene, we must try to make her see this horse. Right now, she sees only her own loss. But nothing is lost, ever. And nothing is ever destroyed. The miners who were killed because of improper timbering in these mines, they have found a new method of timbering, Hoss. I did not do it. They did. I am only the instrument that carried out the plan. No more than that.
Mr. Dietesheimer, folks are gonna remember you for an awful long time. Miss Helene.
Sit down, Miss Holloway. Please.
What's the matter?
Matter? I've been walking around looking into the faces of women who've lost their husbands in the mines. I've been searching their eyes, wondering if they know my father is a murderer.
Ma'am, you shouldn't ought to talk like that. Not about your own Paul.
No.
Maybe he ain't done all he could do, but at least he's tried. He hired Mr. Dietesheimer.
But he hasn't let him do anything, and he won't.
Well, it don't really make no difference if he don't, because we're gonna do it anyhow.
What do you mean?
Paul and Adam and little Joe are up there in the hills right now at the sawmill, milling the timber we're gonna put down in that mine. So Mr. Dietesheimer here can make the test he wants to make.
Does my father know about this?
Well, I reckon Adam sort of forgot to tell him.
Do you really think that my father and the other mine owners would let you do this?
Well, ma'am, we ain't gonna charge them for it. Besides, how are they gonna stop us?
Stop you? Haas, don't you understand? They can hire 50 men with clubs to stop you if they want to.
What they gonna do a thing like that for?
I'm afraid this does go much further than a test installation, Hoss. Once it's in there, and the men see it, they won't be satisfied with any other system of timbering.
Mr. Dietesheimer, do you want that timber down there in that mine?
Yeah, very much, Hoss.
Well, we're gonna put it down there for you. And if any of them fellas try to stop us, well, I reckon that'll be my business. I really think they're dud. I reckon you must know them better than I do.
I don't see my father with them.
There's a rumor around that you plan to do some special timbering in Mr. Holloway's mine.
Well, this is one time that a rumor's correct.
You Cartwrights don't own this mine. You've got no business here.
Now, you don't own this mine either, mister. Why don't you let Mr. Holloway tell me?
We haven't been able to find Mr. Holloway, but his interests are ours, and we're here to see that they're protected. Take him off there.
I'm still in charge here.
Andrew, we couldn't find you. We came here to protect your interests.
I can take care of my own interest, and that's just what I've been doing.
But they were planning to build some of those monkey cages down in your mine.
I'm aware of what they're planning to do. I'm helping them to do it.
Why, Andrew, have you lost your senses?
No, I haven't lost my senses. I've just found them. How long since any of you have been down in one of your mines? Well, maybe you should, gentlemen. I just did, and I don't like what I saw. I don't know if Mr. Dietesheimer's system of timbering will work or not, but he's going to get a chance to try it.
Adam and the other boys will unload that lumber right where you want it. If you need me, well, just holler.
This is fine. You go now, huh? Thank you.
Are you satisfied, Philip?
It is still an impractical man's dream, Adam. An invention is never completed until it is put to the test of serving the purpose for which it was designed. You wait for me up above. Huh? I would like to stay here and look at this for a while.
Oh, no, you don't.
What's the matter?
I found your bag. The powder, you didn't do a good job of hiding it.
It's too dangerous, Adam.
I'm game if you are.
I don't want any more men killed.
Neither do I. But I would like to be with you. Sort of a promise I made to Gil.
All right. We'll see this thing through together. This is good. Now for the final test.
Why, you're wasting our time, Holloway.
You better take a good look at it, because you're going to see a lot of this kind of timbering from now on.
Not in my mind, you won't.
Well, this is it.
Good luck, Philip.
Come. Mr. Holloway, you should not be here.
It's still my mind, and these gentlemen are a little hard to convince.
You don't understand. We're making a test.
Don't test it too hard, or your monkey cage will fall down on your head.
I hope not, gentlemen. I believe not. But we will soon know. We've set a blast to test it.
I can imagine you're being down here with a blast about to go off.
Your workmen do it every day, don't they?
Oh, yes, but with
your present system of timbering. Well, you're standing under some of it now, gentlemen. You may stay here if you feel safer. I prefer to stay over here.
So do I.
Why, you fool, we'll all be killed.
Boys, the old timbering is right behind you. Go ahead, stay under it.
You better hurry.
I think this held up rather well, don't you, gentlemen?
Very impressive. But I still won't hold still for it.
And why not?
Isn't it pretty obvious? This man undoubtedly has a patent on his timbering system and plans to rob us blind collecting royalties.
I'm afraid I'm not so wise as you. I do not know the dollar and cent worth of a human life. I only know it is very dear. I have no patent, no desire to charge royalty. If my invention saves human lives, surely that is payment enough for any man.
Wait a minute, Philip. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just made a practical test of the new Dietesheimer system of timbering. Any of these gentlemen here can attest to the fact that it was a complete success. I'm closing the Ophir till it's completely re-timbered with the Dietesheimer square sets. Every man will be paid his regular wages while the work goes on.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the man who's put an end to all the mine cave-ins on the Comstock. Mr. Philip Dietesheimer. Every mine owner will have to put in square sets now, you watch. This whole town will be sitting on one big honeycomb. It's a great thing you've done, Philip.
We all did it together.
Well, listen, I'm hungry. Ain't you starved?
On the contrary, horse. Right now, I feel very full.
Mr. Dietesheimer, I told you once that folks was gonna remember you for an awful long time. And they would, too, if they could remember your name, but it's so dang blasted hard to pronounce.
Don't worry about that, horse. Names are never very important. Anyway, it's easier to pronounce the Dutchman. Come on, let's get some supper, huh?